Hey guys, I'm Darren Smart, this is Smart Reselling, and today I've got another haul for you. I've called this part 2, even though it really wasn't part of the same haul, but it's related to a haul that I did quite recently, an Atari haul, and that has been selling really well. Some of the prices I've been getting for some of the items have just been fantastic, and really top end stuff. So I've been looking for more retro gaming hauls, and I found these two. And I found these. I won these at 200 and something pounds. It should be here. Okay, so let's see if you can see that. 210 pounds. And I actually went and picked it up today. This was in near Brighton. So I went and picked these up today. Pretty good. I'm going to show you what I've got here. First of all, we have a whole bunch of games, and although I say Atari, it's also for let me pick one of these up and I'll show you. It's for something called the CBS Coleco Vision console, but they also work for Ataris. Some of them work for like the later Atari, some of them for the earlier Ataris, but it's basically all this kind of stuff. I've already priced up quite a bit of it. I don't know the exact values of everything, but we've got this, which is pretty cool. This is the Smurf Paint and Play Workshop, and as you can see inside is manual and cartridge. This by itself, I'm pretty sure, sold for 20 quid by itself. But there is also another Smurf game in here somewhere. There we go. Another Smurf game. So I could always look at bundling them up or seeing if that's got any value by itself. Next up we have Cabbage Patch Kids Adventures in the Park. And this one's actually a cassette, I believe. Oh, okay, yeah, they called it a cassette, but it was actually a cartridge. That's strange. Okay, it says on it cassette. Oh right, okay, I see. Looks like they had different colour coding. So if it was black, it meant it was cartridge. Red meant cassette. Unless that's just different language. Maybe it looks like it might be French. Yeah, I think maybe France call cartridges cassettes. Okay, that explains that one. So that's Cabbage Patch Kids. This one's pretty cool actually. This is Hot Shot Computer Games, compatible with Atari. And it's like you can see through the box. Let's see if we can see it. You can see through the box, and you've got the cartridge there. Let's have a look. And this game inside here is Ground Zero. There we go, that's pretty cool. I'm looking that way as I've actually got my screen there now to make sure I'm in shot. But okay, so that's Hot Shot Computer Games Ground Zero. Then we have Frenzy Stern, or Frenzy. That one unfortunately has a massive tear at the back. But yes, that's Frenzy. Then we've got Venture. This one I believe I couldn't actually see any on eBay at all for this game. It does come with its manual by the looks of it, which is pretty cool. There we go, comes with its manual. These ones aren't in as good a condition as my last haul. They were mint condition, but I mean, if you look at this one, for example, this one is actually really nice. So it's a bit of a mix and match. But this is Space Fury by Sega. We got Frankenstein's Monster there, which is pretty cool. We have Zaxxon. Once again, unfortunately, the box isn't the best. That's Zaxxon. We have Space Panic. We've got, this one's pretty cool, Donkey Kong Jr. with its manual. Manual is a bit kind of scuffed up in there, but as you can see, right, that was straight enough. That will straighten up, no problem. Oh, there's actually the Donkey Kong manual in here as well. So I wonder if I've got Donkey Kong. Anyway, yeah, so that's Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. I remember Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. That was a fantastic game. Right, Donkey Kong Jr. Then we have Carnival. And we have Omega Race. I'm not really aware of any of these games, to be honest. Well, Donkey Kong Jr. of course, but we have Cosmic Avenger and Mousetrap. That's pretty cool. Pit Stop. This one's a pretty decent one. This is the Epix Pit Stop, which is cool. Looping. This was one of the ones that I sort of went on it for, was this one here. It's a game called Hero, and it's actually quite rare. Unfortunately, it's got no manual, but I mean, it is boxed still. There's only one on eBay at the moment, and that's listed for £87. That's non-UK. They have sold for a lot lower than 87. I think one went at auction for 60 odd. So, because I've been the only one in the UK, and this is the PAL version, Atari 2600 version of it, as you can see at the bottom. I might aim for 90 odd and really try my luck on this. I may be way off, but I'm gonna aim for that. We have Alpha Beam with Ernie, which is Sesame Street. We have Pele's Soccer, of course, one of the greatest football players to ever play the game. Whether or not this is one of the greatest games remains to be seen. This one actually is quite funny, Vanguard, because I actually got this in the last lot. The box was mint condition, but there was no game in the box. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep the box just in case I ever see another one. I thought, what are the chances of me actually finding this game again? But here it is in a terrible box. So I'm glad I kept the other box. So it's pretty cool. We have Combat, which is a must-have for any Atari owner. Stampede, which is pretty colourful cover there. Stampede. We have Action Force, which is basically like Action Man. Well, it's not like Action Man, it is Action Man. Okay, that's Action Man. Sky Skipper. I couldn't actually find any of these boxed on eBay, so it's really pretty nice condition. It's got a slight bubbling on the front. Just actually, yeah, you can see it. You can see it well there. So that's pretty cool. Keystone Capers. I'm not sure what that one is. Activision Decathlon. I've now got two of these. Stargate. It's pretty decent. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the series. Like, I don't know if the series came from the same idea as this, but that's pretty cool. Then we have Cookie Monster Munch. I think this actually sold for like 15 or 20 quid by itself as well once. So, right, that explains. I've got something else that it looks like might go with this. Let's have a look if it has actually got what I think it needs. May not. That's a shame. Anyway, yeah, it's got no cartridge and the manual, that's fine, but I was hoping it was going to come with something else. But anyway, this is Cookie Monster Munch. So It's got good money on its own, but I might bundle it with that Ernie one. Right, then we've got this one, which is Warp Lock. That's pretty cool. And now we have some unboxed ones. So we've got Human Cannonball for the Atari. We've got Backgammon for the Atari. We've got Video Chess and Basketball for the Atari. And then we have this. I'm so glad, so glad this was in here. This is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, cartridge only, but there's some real good value in this one. Pretty sure when I last checked it was like a good 25, 30, 35 quid just for the cartridge. Because obviously the E.T. for the Atari gained a lot of publicity when they unearthed all those original E.T. sealed ones. Obviously, unfortunately, this is not boxed or anything, but really nice. There are people on eBay that sell just the box, so I'd be tempted to maybe buy the box and box it up if there was enough profit in it afterwards. But yeah, so that's pretty decent. And then we've got some more for the CBS Coleco Vision console, which is Rocky, based on the movie. We have actually 2 Donkey Kongs, which sometimes is a worrying sign when you buy a bundle and they've got multiples, but this one does have a bit of wear, so maybe whoever owned it just bought a replacement. But I have to test them. I have to test all these obviously. But then we've got Sega Turbo, which I couldn't find too much about online or on eBay. Right, so that was one lot. Okay, so that's that lot. Well, actually, I'll show you that in a second. That was one lot. Let me just get all these back in here, and then I will show you the second lot I have, which is also Atari related. But I should do pretty well in the games. They've been selling really well for me. I've been amazed at how quickly the retro stuff. I mean, I knew retro gaming stuff sold, but I mean, I think I listed them, and within 3 days I'd sold half my stock. So that was pretty decent. Right, okay, so that's all those. And then what we've got is this little box here. If I switch boxes, got this one here. Now, just a minute ago when I showed you the Cookie Monster Munch, it actually had a picture of this on the back, which is the Atari Kids controller, and it said this can be used with that Cookie Monster Munch game. So if I can get this out, there we go. And you put like an overlay over the top, and then you press the buttons that relates to that overlay. Really nice soft buttons actually. I was expecting clunky ones for the time period, but so yeah, so that's pretty decent. That will probably just be sold on its own. I have no idea of value. So even if there's a tenner in it, that's fair enough. So that can go in there. Right, okay. Now what I was going to show you was this. Now this is, as you can see, a very small cartridge. Star Raiders. I've got this on the Atari 2600 as well. But you can see it's quite a small cartridge, and it has like a metallic feel to it. And it says left cartridge on the top. Now what this is actually for is quite a rare Atari console called the Atari XE, and it was basically their attempt at like modernizing the Atari. So you've got Star Raiders, but then I've also got Donkey Kong. I've got Flight Simulator 2, which despite modern flight simulators, this actually sells for like 20 quid on eBay, so that's pretty decent. Galaxian, and of course Pac-Man. I do have a controller, but it's a grey controller, unlike the usual black controllers you get. But unfortunately, it's missing the rubber from the top, which for some reason I didn't notice when I bought it. But it's missing the rubber, so that's a bit of a bummer, but because the grey controller might have done quite well. Then we have this, which is pretty cool, which is the Atari XE light gun. It's pretty good. There's stickers coming off a little bit there, but it's a pretty decent light gun. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then what we have is obviously the power cord for it, and of course the actual console itself, which is the Atari XE. It does need a bit of a clean up. Obviously needs testing, but I think this looks absolutely awesome. You've got the controller ports on the side, whereas obviously with the Atari they were on the back. The Atari 2600 was on the back. You've got like all these ports on the back, which the original Atari didn't have. So you've got like a peripheral one which you can plug in. It says here a printer, a telephone, and like a couple of other things. You've got your main power. You can plug in your television. Obviously, you can plug in a monitor, which is a big step. Well, was a big step forward for these. And also you can plug in audio, so you've actually got an audio out as well. So that made a big difference compared to the original Woody Atari. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Looks pretty sort of like space age. It's in pretty good condition. It just needs a bit of a clean up. These can go for some real good money. If it works, you could pretty much name your price on these at the moment, because I think there was only like one or two on eBay. Maybe one. So that's going to be a great sale if it works. And once again, got to test it. I've got no leads, nothing for this, nothing else other than this. But in that box, underneath that Atari, was also a Sinclair Spectrum, which is pretty cool. But like I said, I've got no leads or anything for this. It's just a very original Sinclair ZX Spectrum. So it does have some paint on the back. I can get rid of that. Some dirt in general. But yeah, so nice little hidden bonus. I've seen this model by itself go for 50 quid. I don't know if that was a one-off, because they tend to go a bit cheaper than that, but I'll have to see what their listing had, what made it stand out enough to pay £50 for. But yeah, so that's a nice little bonus. So there we go, another Atari / Spectrum haul. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've got to test all this and list it, and I've got like 12 packages to pack up tonight for Hermes as well, so it's going to be a long night. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it. Cheers.